Right, our lesson 10 is about communication. Huh? Right, this can be considered for management as organizational communication, for managerial communication, organizational communication, or communication in organizations. We will, highlight. Highlight this. No? Okay, no? Right, these are the areas we are going to cover some learning points. First, we will define communications. This means organizational communication. Right, after that, we will know the general model of purpose of communication. Then, different organizational communication types. Then, some barriers to effective communication. Knowing how to overcome them. Some managerial implications of communication. We may use this picture and the contents to understand most of the concepts used here. Simply, very broadly, communication can be defined as the transfer and understanding of meanings. Transfer and understanding of meanings. Right. I'll give another improved definition about that. You may write down that. We can say that communication is communication is the exchange of transfer given and the similar word, the exchange of information. Communication is the exchange of information. Within bracket, you can present different forms of information. Those are ideas in the bracket, ideas, then facts, commas, ideas, facts, feelings, ideas, comma, facts or data, right? Feelings, The new one. We have to sign this book also. Within bracket, how it defines ideas, facts or data, comma, then put comma, separate feelings, then comma, emotions, etc. Right? Close the bracket. These are the different forms of information we try to exchange or transfer or share each other in an organization as well as in a society. In both theory and the then you close the bracket. Finish the sentence. One part is continue as one part is meaningfully. That is so essential. There should be a meaningfully. Right, that's how communication can be defined in one way. It allows, you can say it's a process, no? It is a process used to transfer or exchange. Then communication is a process, but later we will identify the process. Right. When you see this picture, all what we mentioned in the definition can be seen lively. No? There are parties, involving parties, then they try to exchange. Somehow one of them mentioned in the bracket. Right. But to achieve communication goes meaningfully. Right. Then here, talent one is the communicator or the sender. Seated ones are the receivers or in the audience. Right. Then a sender sends the message or transmits the message to the recipients through a channel or set of channels. But to have a meaning, but all forms or some forms here I think facts are transferred. Then electronic communication is used here as we do. We are also using the electronic communication to transfer facts or information about management, right? And sometimes while doing that, we try to share other forms of information also, ideas, emotions, feelings. You have to feel that, but I communicate. Right, then formal communication, informal communication, body languages, electronic communication, all should be used here. Right. Then we will move to the next one to know the process of communication, the general process with some variables. Right, there are two parties involved in the message encoded and sent by the sender. It is decoded and received by the receiver. But to reach the or send the message, different channels are used or mediums are used. It can be verbal or non-verbal, written, and electronic. Right. The personal variables of the two parties can also involve in this process. The personal variables such as experiences, attitudes, skills, perceptions, not only some of them gender, marital status, or demographical variables, including education, all can intervene. The way the message is encoded and the way it is decoded by the two parties. But to complete the communication process, this is also essential. What is that? Feedback. It is to ensure whether the message reached or understood expected. Right. But in above, there's a noise in the communication, noise happens, no, as an umbrella. Sometimes it disturbs as a physical barrier, physiological barrier against effective communication. Right. That's how the general communication model should be understood. Sender, receiver, medium, feedback, and noise. In this classroom also, these variables involved. I am setting you are giving, we are using different forms of channels. The feedback is there. The noise is also there. Noise from the machine outside. That's a physical barrier, inevitable in communication. Right, then we will move to the next one to identify different types. But broadly, we can divide communication as formal and informal communication. You can have a chart, like a tree diagram. Then heading is organizational communication. Organizational communication. Whiteboard exam. Oh, this one. What should we use? Okay, when the Right. Whiteboard. See, and for example, the general format. Okay, next. These are windows, no? The smart board functions are here. From here we have to trace the whiteboard, no? Huh? Minimize. Huh? This one. Not coming. Coming, no? This way. Not right in way. This one. Not right in way. How to erase it? Page 1, I have to write slowly, no? Color. Organization. Communication, short form. Then broadly divided into two, no? What are the two? Formal and informal. Formal, informal. Right. Then formal can be divided again. Vertical and horizontal, no? Vertical, horizontal. Horizontal is also called as lateral. Right. Then vertical had two types, but we noted in the slide, particular slide. Downward, upward. In all, you have to mention communication. Huh? This is about communication. Formal communication, informal communication, vertical communication, horizontal communication, or lateral communication, downward communication, upward communication. All are about communication. Right. Informal communication has different patterns, like gossips. Gossips can overlook. ඒවා නරක නෑනේ. Gossips, then legends, කටකතා. Then rumors, ආරංචි වගේ ඒවා. Which are also used, no? As informal communication. අට ඔය විදිහට ගන්න පුළුවන් නේ. Formal, informal, vertical, horizontal, downward, upward. These are different ways, no? Gossips, legends, rumors. Right, then අපි ඉතින් downward නේ. දැන් එතෙන්ට යන්න ඕනේ minimize කරන්න. ඒකයි මම කියන්නේ මේ බලා ගන්න බෑනේ. පැරලි යන්න. ලේසි. කොස්සෙන්නේ පැරලි බෑනේ. white board එකක් මේක බලන්න කරන්නේ. දැන් මේක minimize කරන්න බෑනේ. මේකේ close කොහෙද? desktop නේ. desktop ගියපුවම අපේ slide එක කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? ඒකද? ආය on කරන්න නේද? Right. Downward. Downward is the top-down communication. No, it follows a scalar principle, where the vision, mission, goals, job instructions, policies, procedures, problems, need of feedback, all should be distributed from top managers to the lowest level. Right. That is one major part of the or start of the vertical communication. Then in upward communication, the lower level employees and managers should report all responses to these from from bottom level to the top level, following the scalar principle, scalar chain. Right. The two allow to have the vertical coordination, vertical communication, and vertical coordination communication. Right. That is a must. Okay. Then to do the interdepartmental communication, organization need horizontal or lateral. But horizontal can be the communication among division. Then to say so, we can't use the term horizontal. To say horizontal, there should be another one in the same level. Compare. Therefore, now we are asked to use this word, lateral. But that goes very horizontal. Right. This is to use the interdepartmental or group communication. That cannot be done through the vertical communication. Right. This should present the teamwork. Teamwork. All I said is working okay. Then that's how the formal communication should be considered with these components. Right. ඊට පස්සේ informal තිබ්බනේ. Still something is here about formal. In the formal communication, these architectural patterns of communication can be seen. Right. In the hierarchy, the chain is considered between communication between two levels in the same hierarchy. Then that allows to use chain method, chain modular. Right. Then in group communication, what happens? Not the chain, wheel communication, wheel pattern. But in an organization, both should happen, vertical, horizontal. Then all channel network should be used, all channel. Combining chain and wheel together. Right. These are patterns. Right. Then in informal communication, as I mentioned there, not written here, the gossips, legends, rumors, those patterns should be used in informal communication, not chain, wheel and all channels, which are out of the hierarchy, informal, which are developed by employees with their closeness and interest. Right. But they may give a lot of benefits to both managers and employees. To managers, using informal communication, they can reduce their high workload, day-to-day workload, and also can use the informal communication to motivate employees and to enhance their job satisfaction and performance. From the employee side, the informal communication channels can be used to disseminate their grievances, personal problems, and other things. Then this also helps to form cliques or informal teams based on the friendship and closeness of employees. That's what our other studies also. Right. Therefore, today these are highly used to clouding or social media, not only in organization, in nation sense. Higher the use of electronic communication, higher the chance to use informal gatherings. Right. Sometimes they become formal. Earlier, I think we considered emails as informal things. No? Now, which are highly used. Even courts, judges are using emails, evidence as very valid information. Right. That's the highly use of electronic communication. But this basis is different. No? These are identified as the mode of communication or techniques used to communicate. That is another base of identifying the types of communication. But here we consider formal and informal communication classification. That's the main one. Right. But we have to consider the usable technique also. No? In such a way, we can consider communication as verbal communication or oral communication, where speeches, one-to-one, all are formal. No, both. Then we have to forget the formal, informal classification. Whatever the mode, here we have to identify the communication as far as the use technology, technique, method. Right. Then oral communication can be presented, can present the message as orally, not verbally. These are the ways, no? Speeches, formal one-to-one discussions, group discussions, using informal channels, even verbally. Then we have to consider the way the message is delivered to the other party, which are also highly used. Such purposes of communication cannot be achieved from other means. Yeah, first we have to consider oral communication. Again, oral speaking, but while improving the oral presentation, we have to improve written presentation. Right? Exams only oral value. Right. Then written communication transmits the message in text forms, no? Or it's memos, letters, as emails, as SMS, as periodicals, with notice boards. Notice boards, මෙතන whiteboard වගේ electronic එකක් තියෙනවා, hard එකක් තියෙනවා, non electronic තියෙනවා. But today we are supposed to use electronic boards. ආයතන වල තියෙන්නේ soft copies තියෙනවා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම නේ, hard copies තියෙනවා. Right. And other devices used to transmit the messages verbal, written or symbolic forms. Right. Okay, annual reports, but both should be used. Each has its own purpose. ඊට පස්සේ ඔය දෙකටම අතර එනවා non-verbal or paraverbal. Those are the body languages that the communicator uses. Movement of body, intonation, emphasis, the physical distance between the parties, the facial expressions. There are different things. This purpose cannot be achieved with verbal or non-verbal. Right. Then today, there is a high chance of using electronic communication. That is another way of identifying communication through the techniques. Electronic communication. Even we are in these classrooms are using much electronic communication. Then there is another audience through Teams, technology, virtual team. Right, emails, texts, network software, blogs, video conferencing. Zoom is also a video conferencing technology. Earlier we had Skype, now that is not used. Yahoo VPN, Skype were used those days. Now we are using these Zoom things. In future, there will be another one, more improved ones. But same video conferencing tools should be used with audio and video visuals, providing many other facilities like chat meetings, chat messages, raising hands, recording, a lot of technologies, a lot of facilities, right? Subject to different benefits given by the electronic communication, still there are two major drawbacks. One is misunderstanding. That is one. Then misusing. Right? Those are the two major drawbacks of the modern electronic communication. Consequences of the misunderstanding and consequences of misuse. Misunderstanding hacking, unauthorized access, illegal activities, sexual harassment, so and privacy problems, ethical problems, all may happen due to that. Right, but we can't undermine the use of electronic communication. We are already vulnerable. Specific new generation is more with that. Is more with that. The AI applications are very good examples to say the high use of electronic appliances in the modern world, business world, in different industries. ඉස්සරහට vehicles නියමත් ඒ විදිහට එන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද with more AI applications. Even other household appliances all will come in that form. Even other services should be rendered to AI. Then news cable money AI වලින් දෙන්නේ new රටවල දැනට. AI නේ. AI නේ හදන්නේ. With 3D technologies. Chat GPT. Even doctors are using it. They are not comfortable about particular disease. For the reason they may consult AI now. Even engineers can consult AI. Lawyers can consult AI. But they have to match the particular guidelines given by the AI to the particular situation. That should be done. Otherwise, there is a danger to their professions and the reputation. The lamait them and AI use the report them other number, you have to modify them in your way. No harm to use that technology, but you have to verify. So the fine tune your report. That's how I start people because we can't avoid the technology, avoid using the technology. But it's a matter of using our knowledge, our creativity, innovation also in there. Right, that's how the different types of communication used in organizations or used in societies should be known. The first classification is the formal, informal classification. Then looking at the techniques used to communicate, we can communicate, classify them. Therefore, our task is to consider everything, not together. But ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහපුවා මේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට ගැලපෙන විදිහට ලියන්න ඕන. Then next one is coming now the barriers, no? Barriers මම අර physical barriers කිව්වට මේකේ දාලා නැහැ. That's the first barrier, no? First type of barrier is the physical barrier, including noises. That has not been mentioned here. Right. Here, there are different other barriers to communication are present, right? First one is filtering. Filtering means purposeful manipulation of the information. This happens from the sender. Because sender tries to present the message to the other party in a favorable way. Not favorable way to him, receiver, but in a favorable way to the himself or the herself. Right. Then a small example is given there. A manager who tells his boss what he feels the boss wants to hear is filtering. The meaning of that. Sometimes a junior manager may try to present information to the boss, knowing the way the boss can be motivated. Right? Then sometimes this leads to filtering. Filtering means manipulation of the information. ඒක ජෙනරික් පැටි දැන් තව උදාහරණයක් පැහැදිලි කරනවා මොකද? දැන් බොස් හැමදේ විතරක් බලන්නේ තමන්ගේ බොස් මේ හොඳ දෙයක් අහන්න නම් එයා කරන්නේ වැරදි දෙයක්ම හොඳ විදිහට පෙන්වන්න යනවා නේද? මොකද නැත්තම් බොස් අප්සෙට් වෙනවා. Right. And again, that's the filtering. But because of that, the boss may make a wrong decision because the required information has not passed to boss. පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් කරලා තමයි දාන්න. ටික එකම වෙනස් කරලා දාන්න. සේල්ස් ස්ටාෆ් එක කියන්න පුළුවන් සේල්ස් මැනේජර් විතරම යා මේ බලන්නේ ඉන්ක්‍රීස් සේල්ස් නම් මාකට් එකේ අඩුවෙන් තිබුණත් වැඩියෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් ඕවර් එස්ටිමේට් කරලා තමයි දෙන්නේ මැසේජ් එක. ඒකනෝ බජට් එක හදපුවාම වැරදි. සමහරට වැඩියෙන් ප්‍රොඩියුස් කරන ඉන්නේ. ඉන්වෙන්ටරි එක වැඩියෙන්. Then filtering should be minimized as much as possible. This cannot be eradicated, but it can be minimized. Right. Then there are different ways to minimize the filtering. One is giving punishments or guidelines, proper guidelines by bosses, and cross-check. That comes under feedback. Cross-checking the information with another one. Right. Therefore, the boss should not get information from one person, one union. The different unions should be contacted. Or a line manager, another line manager or division head should be contacted. Second one is the problem happens from the receiver's side. It is selective perception. In a similar way, because in the two boxes in the model, we noted these variables, no? Experiences, motivation, perceptions. Those may, right? Those may appear as the factors to the filtering of selective perception in the two points. Right. Here, the person or the receiver tries to get the message and interpret that, understand that in a biased way. Actually, both biases are happening. Information biases are happening. Right. Then, as an example, if I give this may happen from managers also, not only from employees. Right. There's a group of managers, no? A panel of managers who are interviewing one person, they use all things. Right. Then you normally know that male candidate, if a male candidate goes for an interview, he or she, he should wear a tie now in a nice way. Normally, wearing a tie is an accepted thing from a male candidate in an interview. But assume that one candidate is coming to the interview without a tie due to a reason. He might be forgotten that, or he might be not much considered that. Right. But the managers may reject that him because he has not won a tie for the interview. But he might be answered to the questions very strongly, successfully. But due to that one criterion, which missed, the candidate would not be selected as the best candidate to the job. How the decision happened? Due to the selective perception by the decision makers. Therefore, in our day-to-day life also, whenever we should use and consider different criteria, right, for a decision, we have to consider all of them. Therefore, we should not make biased decision considering one characteristic. Because විවාහයේදී හැම දෙයකම ඕන වෙනවා නේද? කදයක් විතරක් බලන්න ඕනේ. පස්සේ පස්සේ වෙන්නේ නැහැ කදයක් බලන්න. සමහර අය ලස්සන විතරක් බලනවා නේද? ලස්සන බලලා වෙනේව බලන්නේ. ඒක දෙකේ තීරණයක් ගන්න. ඒක එක ෆැක්ටර් එකක් විතරයි. You have to consider some other factors. The education, qualities, backgrounds, different sets, different criteria. Otherwise, you may be go to the selective perception to make a wrongful decision. සමහරට ෆිල්ටර් කරන ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් වලට රැවටෙන්නත් හොඳ නැහැ නේ. You have to consider whether you are using with comprehensive, complete information, not a filtered one. Right. නමුත් වැඩිපුර ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් ගන්න එකත් ප්‍රොබ්ලම් එකක්. That is the next issue. Information overload. Right. Then we should not use overloaded information to make a decision. It is also a barrier to the effective communication and effective decision making. It is one way time consuming, right? Then it is very difficult to have a good analysis if you are using exceeded information. Right. As human beings, we have to know the limits of information capacity of us. It depends on the person, no, actually. No one accepted way, range. But looking at your information capability or your boss's information capability, you have to do the message. As an example, when you are doing a presentation for your senior managers, board of directors, they like using or considering very summarized information, not detailed information. Then in such a presentation, you have to use diagrams, tables, charts to convince the message for them. Because senior managers, directors are not the experts to one particular area, right? Therefore, when you do a presentation for them, your partners or somewhere in the firm, you have to present generic information. Otherwise, they can't understand. They would not watch your presentation. Right. But when you talk the things for your boss, immediate boss, in the finance division or the accounting division, you can use all these detailed information for them. Because they are the experts in that area. Likewise, you have to consider the audience. Know how far your information should be composed and how far, what's the way you should disseminate. Those are mentioned in this point, the information overload. Then emotions. It is another way. Too much of emotions, but without emotions, we would not work without emotions. We need emotions, otherwise we don't have motivation to do the things. But don't be too much of emotional. That means consider the mood of the participants in the communication process. When they are in a very negative mood, you have to refrain from communicating until the parties come to the normal mood. ඒක වෙනවනේ. දැන් බොස් ගාවට කතා කරන්න යනකොට එම දොරාරින් නෑ මේ බලන මූඩ් එකේ. මූඩ් එක බලලා නේද? That is happening. එදරුණත් එමනේ අමගේ තාත්තා මූඩ් එක බලලා තමයි යමක් කියන්නේ අලුත් දෙයක් කියන්නේ. ඒක බලලා තමයි කියන්නේ. ඒකටත් එමනේ. සමන් මූඩ් එක බලලා තමයි කියන්නේ. Right. Those are very important, no? To maintain the relations with others and to get the task done. By language, it is one way to balance. To effective communication, language means different things to different people. Right? It covers different areas, even culture, background, and demographical variables. All can be considered here. Therefore, it is the biggest factor influencing or determining or creating communication differences among parties. Language, like it covers the culture, gender, community, and everything. Right. Therefore, in Sri Lanka, when we use some terms like yes and no, it is expected to use them in a moderate way, not as exact ways. No? But there are some countries, if they say yes, they will do things in said way. If no, it is no, or any indifferent things. But in our culture, yes, no, okay. The promises are considered not as exact things, but as moderated things. That's how the language is considered to present the behavior and to do the task. අපි සමහරට ඔව් කියවුවාම නැහැ කියන එකනේ කියන්නේ. ඔව්. ඒ දෙකම මික්ස් විදියට යූස් කරන්නේ. That's our culture. It's a cultural thing. දැන් body language එකත් එමයනේ. ඔළුව හොල්ලනවා මේ ඒකත් ඉන්ඩිෆරන්ට් විදියට. හරියටම අපිට විශ්වාස කරන්න එපා ඔළුව හොල්ලන්නේ හරියට කියලා. වෙන රටවල වල ඒක අගේටම ජපාන් වගේ නේද? ඒ වගේ සිම්බලික් ඒවා ඒ විදිහටම කරන්නේ. ප්‍රශ්න. Patience. අපේ ගණන් දැන් නැහැ ඉතින් ඒක බලමුත් නැහැ. Right. Then silence is another one, no? But there should be a certain level of silence that enhances the listening with the other. That is one major requirement to the effective communication. Without listening, we can't understand the other's intention, other's feeling. But too much of silence gives a poor information, lack of information. That's the meaning. That's how it, too much of silence only happens as well. But there should be a silence. Otherwise, we can't listen to the other party. One of the obedience are the communication from the third. Right, communication apprehension. That problem happens to individuals. No? It is an individual level problem. Right. Then, as an example, some individuals are reluctant to communicate face to face. Lajjavati, no, why? Unna to muna sannivedana කරන්න සර්. why? ඒක අදාගන්න අමාරුයි. නැකල් මේක තියෙන. සමහර අය මේ ටෙලිෆෝන් එක යූස් කරන්න වේවුලනවා නේ. දැන් අපි මොබයිල් ෆෝන්ස් ඉන්නේ කම්ෆර්ටබල් ස්මාර්ට් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉස්සර අර රිසීවර්ස් එක යූස් කරනකොට වේවුලනවා. දැනුත් තියෙනවා ඒක නේ. සමහර මොබයිල් ෆෝන්ස් වල කතා කරනකොට මේ හරියට ටෝන් එක කියන්නේ වේවුලලා කතා කරනවා. වයි තමයි. කෑ ගන්න නේ. සමහර හිතෙන්නේ මේ හයි ටෝන් එකකින් කතා කරනවා කියන්නේ. අනිත් ඒවාට බලන කෙනාට තමයි පේන්නේ නේ. ඔක්කොම ටික මේ කියනවා නේ. private ඒවා වුණත් ඇහෙනවා. Those are personal problems, typical behavioral problems in communication, right? Encountered by some. But හැම කෙනාටම මොනවාරි communication problem එකක් තියෙනවා. ඔයාලට තියෙන්නේ. මොනවාරි communication problem එකක් තියෙනවා මරණ කාලේ. හැම කෙනාටම තියෙනවා මොකක් කරන්නේ. That's why we call that no one is perfect in communication. හරිද? ඔයාලා බලන්න තමන්ට මොකක්ද තියෙන්නේ කතා ගන්නත් බැහැ. හැම කෙනාටම තියෙනවා. එක්ක වැඩියෙන් කතා කිරීමත් ප්‍රොබ්ලම් එකක් කමියුනිකේෂන්. සමහර අය ඉන්න very talkative නේ. අනිත් අය කැමති නෑ ඒකට මේ කතා කරන්න එක. සමහර අය ඉන්න හුඟක් සයිලන්ට් අඩුවෙන් කතා කරන එකත් හරි නෑ. ඒකට මේ තේරුම් ගන්නවා කතා කරන්නේ. අද්භූතයි කියලා කියනවා. බුද්ධයි කියලා. Right. Then any person has own communication problem. I'm going to do it. Okay, benar betul ini. Dan kalau mungkin ada kan nama. The last one is line. Line में क्या यार Twitter dulu देखा. Filtering එක සමාන හොඳ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක කරන්නේ දැන් බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ තේරෙලා සමානලාට වැරදි දෙයක් කිව්ව නම් නන්ද කුමාරයාට එහෙම නේද? කිව්වනේ චේතනාව හොඳයි හදන්න. So line හැම වෙලේම sorry මේ distortion නරකම නැහැ. නමුත් line නරකයි හැම වෙලේම. line වල දෙන්න මොකද බොරු කියනවා. It's a misrepresentation. It's providing wrongful information. So the distortion එකයි මේකයි වෙනස්. එතන ඉතාමතාම වැරදි තොරතුරක් කියනවා. ඒක line. Then based on line information, always decision makers will make wrong decisions. වැරදිව දැන් ගොඩක් කම්පැනිස් වල වෙලා තියෙන්නේ විචාර එකටත් තුලානේ. Toshiba. The top managers or board of directors have disseminated wrongful financial information figures. These have been done over years. Then finally, the companies were about to collapse due to those and information. සමහර ඒවා කියනවා මේ inside information දෙනවානේ. Inside dealings කියලා දෙන්නේ. General public එකට යදිස්සල දෙනවා ඒවා leak කරලා. Those are inside dealings. Right. As per the securities and exchange laws, so wrongful mistake, not mistake. Fraud. It's a financial fraud. Right. Those can be punished, no? Measure fines, even with imprisonments, or both, with both. Central bank is inside the අඩුවෙන්න කලින් විකුණනවා. වැඩි වෙන්න කලින් ගන්නවා. මේ වගේ තියෙනවා. Those are lies. Harmful information to gain personal benefits. Millions of personal benefits, financial benefits. Right. As auditors and accountants, you should be very careful not to lie through corporate reports. Right. That's there's another point to identify some implications. The summary, concluding remarks of the lesson. Right. First one says that the less minimum distortion of the communication or the information can enhance the effective communication and the feedback. Right. Therefore, the lower the distortion, lesser the distortion can enhance the effectiveness of the communication. There's a strong relationship between. Right. That is one point from the result. Then this one, managers or the parties should use the different types of communication together. That can reduce uncertainty, can enhance the communication flow platform, and finally, it may enhance the individual or group performance and satisfaction. Organizational performance and job satisfaction. But this is inevitable, no? As I said, perfect communication is unattainable, right? But we should know there's a positive relationship between the effective communication and the productivity, worker productivity. Then these are the major generic communication strategies we can use. One is selecting the correct channel or channels, be an active listener, and using the feedback are the three major strategies of communication to overcome the said barriers. Right. Using different channels altogether, be an active or effective listener, and using the feedback can enhance the effectiveness of communication. Some more points. Whatever the sender's way of passing the message, the reality of the communication is more with the way the receiver gets the message and interprets that. The reality of the message is that how far the receiver tries to understand the message. Okay, get the message. Right. Then there are many benefits, advantages of the electronic communication, but misunderstanding, misuse in other still major barriers of it or drawbacks of it. Right. Then this is also important. One major point in communication: make sure your communication strategies and techniques are matchable to the audience you are targeting, target audience. Finally, though we identify different barriers to communication, though their effects, consequences can be minimized or overcome or reduced, but we can't avoid them fully, right? Always there is a drawback of communication. That's why we said perfect communication cannot be achieved unless we can enhance the effectiveness. Those are the things we have to consider in this lesson. Therefore, all successes as a manager or leader, much dependent on the way of communication. Most all problems are happening due to poor communication. නැවතනම් කියන බැලුවොත් හේතුව communication problem. ඕනෙම දෙයක් සමාජයේ තියෙනවා. ඔය leaders appoint වෙන්නේ මාරු වෙන්නේ නැති වෙන ඔක්කොම communication problems එක. right ඒක මාධ්‍යයට සෑහෙන වැඩක් කරයි කියන්නේ. මාධ්‍ය is more powerful agency in this communication, public communication, mass communication. तर මාධ්‍ය ඕනෑමකට කලින් බලවත්. ඒකේ මාධ්‍ය තමන්ගේ රෝල් එක හරියට කරන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒකේ reputation එක නැති. මිනිස්සු පිළිගන්නේ. We should know that as well. Right here we will have a short break for about 15 to 20 minutes. Coming back, we will have your last quiz. This one. Right after that, we will study a case also from the book that is about communication. Now you got the results. Oh, this is sales. Huh? Some had no excels. But it is changed in a person to person. You can have different time slots. How about the corporate level? What are the different subjects? Compare level is okay, no? Huh? Advanced finance. Advanced management is okay. Those are there. But all MCQ, no? Oh. Structure. No MCQs. Both. That is not enough to have a pass mark. Then that is tougher than final corporate level. No, huh?
Studying level 5.
No, tougher, more difficult. Corporate level subjects are more difficult than
Strategic level and more difficult. So, strategic level is the most difficult.
what it is there? Taxation.
Corporate level.
That's it.
Corporate taxation. Tax will be easier if someone has experience with tax.
But similar tax lessons are coming now, individual tax, partnership tax, corporate tax, and some law cases. If we ignore law part, writing part, we can pass, have a pass.
We can write the writing part also if we have practical writing. Practically.
But civil adjustments, no? As we came to the 80 final law, some civil adjustments. But for management accounting, textbook can be used, no? For in brewery or something. First time management accounting. Because business level. The business level management. No, in the corporate level also. The transfer pricing decisions all are coming. Because not like finance and accounting, no standards, no. Any calculation can be used for management account. No, not changing, no. But for financial reporting, standard to standard, we have to comply with that. That's why it is different. You are updating.
Meeting part also is not.
Yeah. The exact answer should be equal. Mathematical answer should be equal. But ekatara procedures, internal controls,
Same case controls.
same point should be given. General points. As the answer, anyhow, the general point should be matched to the scenario. Loaded. Procedures. However, then again,
Kind of political.
now, how about the industry reputation for the chartered company people? Salary packages and all that.
Yeah, but
Very competitive.
it,
Not like those days, no?
oh, Relax is good.
Three.
300K.
Earlier they had only 1.5. As for that, the economic dimensions. Now about double. Yeah, the equilibrium is there always. Market equilibrium is there.
Even senior, executive level is giving me question all the time, something around that. Senior.
Really, Sri Lanka, the finance and tradition has the reputation. Finance line. In the same. Finance and accounting can have more power to the market. They can bargain more. Because marketing communication should start from the lower level of the sales rate. They can't directly go for the managerial system. Marketing people. But accounting people can do. And they directly go for the chief accountant. We will start now. Others should come. The first one, right? About leadership. No, communication. I will use the number order. And first one is from the online platform. Number 2. Are you there? 002.
Hi.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about communication.
Okay. Today we talked about the communication. Communication is basically exchange of information as among the parties to the meaningful facts such as ideas, feelings, emotions, such as things. So, organizational communication we can divide it some categories uh, such as formal communication and the informal communication. Under formal communication, there can be two parties, vertical and horizontal. Under vertical communication, there can be two two parties again. One is downward communication, and then the second one is upward communication. So the downward communication is flows from one level of group of organization to lower level, such as assign goals to lower level employees, provide job instructions, explain policies and procedures, and point out problems, such as. And the upward communication means flows to higher level in the group or organizations, such as example, provide feedback and inform progress towards to goals, and such as things like employees to managers, the dealing. And there are different
Okay,
okay.
you have already many points, but anyhow, how you define communication?
uh, Communication is exchange of information among parties.
Yeah, exchange of information
Among parties meaningfully.
among parties
Uh,
with the meaning, meaningfully,
yeah, meaningfully.
Okay, right. Then we will move to next one, number 4. 004.
Barriers to effective communication. Effective communication is essential in every aspect of life, yet many barriers prevent us from understanding each other clearly. One common barrier is filtering, where the sender manipulates information to make it more favorable. Second point is selective perception. People interpret messages based on their own experience, which can lead misunderstandings. Similarly, information overload. Too much information at once make it hard to process key details. Emotions.
No, one is enough. Can you give a good example for filtering? How it happens in an organization?
Employee may only tell their boss what boss need to hear.
To satisfy him, because it's a manipulation of the information. Message. Number 5.
Today I'm going to talk about communication types. There are several types of communication. Under formal communication, there are horizontal and vertical. There are two types. So I'm going to talk about the vertical, upward and downward communication. Downward communication refers to the flow of information from higher levels to the organization by one to lower levels. This type of communication is generally used to give instructions, provide feedback, or share policies or decisions. And upward communication means flow information from lower levels of the organization to higher levels. This communication involves suggestions, concerns, report of colleagues, like that. Yeah.
Right, then number 6, 006.
Parallel communication was to exchange of information between individuals who work at the same level within the organization. This type of communication first among members of the same groups, first work groups at the same level, to among managers of equal rank. It helps improve coordination, collaboration, and decision making by allowing peers to share information directly without showing hierarchical channels. Parallel communication is essential for teamwork, problem solving, and maintain smooth operation within departments. Can take various forms such as meetings, emails, instant messages, or informal conversations.
Okay, can you give a small example to know the interdepartmental communication? Letter.
Finance.
Marketing manager may require more fund to do an advertisement recommended by the finance manager to the accountant. Number 7. Yeah, take a mic.
Sharing information, ideas for feelings of people within the community, peer groups, departments, or units of an organization who are at or about the same level as each other for the purpose of coordinating activities, for fulfilling a common purpose for a goal. Example for letter communication, post-departmental meetings, performance review, staff meetings.
How this starts in a one department? Then what is an example? Huh? Sales manager may discuss how to improve the sales in a particular region with the sales forces, sales staff, executives. That happens in the same team, same department. Need not to identify another one, no? Number 8.
So information between individual departments at the same level and organization type of communication between colleagues or teams and organizations to coordinate activities, share information and solve problems. Essential for preparation and functioning teams and different systems. For example, company departmental goals, discussions, department colleagues.
Number 9. Number 9. Zero 9. In the absent, no? Number 11.
Individuals' capacity to process effectively leading to confusion and difficulty in decision making. Example, when a company is researching for a major purchase like a car, they might encounter countless reviews, specifications, and comparisons. The sheer amount of the information can make it hard to decide, potentially causing stress and decisions.
Is it a delegate?
Yes.
Too much of information in you provides this one complexity. Right, then 12. 0, 1, 2.
Discuss about barriers of effective communication. And effective and meaningful communication is crucial in organization. But there are several barriers that can disrupt the process. First one is emotions. The person who can affect how they understand a message. As example, a frustrated employee can be misread the simple email as a rude or demanding. And language difference is another one. Words may have different meaning to different people, the different culture. As example, a technical expert uses jargon that an unmet technical college doesn't understand. And a silence
is another one is lack of response can indicate disagreement or agreement or fear. Example, an employee avoids speaking in a meeting due to fear of rejection. Those are the values.
But out of 10, we have many answers, no? Only 4%, 8 marks out of 20. For the first one, shall I announce this after giving the answers? Right, next one, 13,013. Absent. To be absent, there are many consecutive absences. 013. Right, next one, online 40,014.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Today we discuss about communication.
Well,
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Today we discuss about the communication. Important of the communication is transfer and understanding of the meaning. You teach about us the communication definition. The definition of the communication is the exchange of information meaningfully. In the communication, we can identify two components. First, sender and receiver. Sender using the method of communication verbal, electronically, written. Those are the method between communicate with receiver for the purpose of exchanging experience, attitude, skills, and perception. Those are the component of the communication. And the communication can be divided into two parts. Mainly, it is formal and informal communication. The formal communication, it is like a chain communication. The chain communication is, we can see some architectural structure we can see in the formal communication. Most of the companies and organizations using this formal communication. The formal communication, we can divide it another vertical and horizontal. Vertical communication using by managers, to manage top management to communicate some information to the bottom level. Then upward communication using the bottom level to transfer idea to the top management. And you
Okay.
information. Nice, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, no? Right. Next one, 15. Again, online, na?
Sir.
015.
Okay. Today's communication, sir. Communication is exchange of information among the relevant parties with meaningful manner. There is some process of communication. Sender and message and pass to the receiver, and receiver feedback to the again sender. There's some communication process. We can divide the organization communication basically divided into the formal communication and informal communication. Under the formal communication, we can divide to two sectors: vertical and horizontal. Vertical mean downward communication and upward communication. Downward communication mean top management to the lower level employees, such as assign goals, provide job instruction, policy and procedures, like that. Upward communication method is lower level to the top management, transfer to their ideas or information, such as inform to the manager their lack of these ideas, like that. Inform to the superior or manager. Lateral communication means internal interdependent communication, such as teamwork communication, group communication, like that. So when it's come to the, however, we have to some barriers to the communication here. Filtering communication. Filtering communication mean purposely manipulate information for the information. Some information manipulate purposely. So there are some barriers and language barriers, silent barriers, like that. And finally, manager can implement avoid those things. We can clear and concise information. So the manager ensure that information is clearly communicate their subordinated or within the organization members. Some manager can avoid complex language so that they can ensure communicate clearly. After that, after the one thing is active listening. Managers should listen in the actively their employers. But they said that like that. We can use the new technology. New technology managers should for the communication process like that email video conference we can through this equipment we can through the build good communication for our organization goals achievement purpose.
Okay, next one, 70,017. Absent, 017. Absent, no? Things absent. Right, this one online, 18,018.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Communication is a process of exchanging or sharing of.
This volume, huh? Mic volume. 18,
Yeah, is that okay now, sir?
018.
Hello.
Are you absent?
Hello. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello, sir.
Silent, no? Right, then 019.
So 18 is available, sir.
One is talking now. 18 is now talking.
So
Hello.
yes members
Hello,
is
sir.
trying my call in but you cannot hear. Is there any problem? Number Prasantika.
Loudly.
Hello, sir.
You told that the member is not available.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Now okay.
Okay, sir. Today we discuss about the communication. Communication is process of exchange and sharing the information among the people within the organization meaningfully. In the communication, we can divide it into two: formal and informal. Under the formal, we can refer vertical communication and the horizontal communication. In the vertical communication there are two types. Downward communication under the downward communication, it's flowing information from upper level to lower level. It's like sharing the policies and procedures related to the work matters from the managers to the workers. And the upward communication means from the lower level information flowing from lower level to upper level. It's like feedback for the related to the works and the work related issues the employees are sharing with the managerial level. As well, the employees are suggest implementation related their works while they are working. And the lateral communication also, the sharing and exchange information within the same work group and the same level of horizontal equally within the workers.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
okay,
Thank
that then we move to the 19.
Of various effective communication, selective perception. Selective perception is when people interpret or focus on information based on their own beliefs, experience, or expectations. This can make communication effective because individuals may misunderstand or ignore parts of a message that don't match their needs. It can lead to bias, interpretations, miscommunication, and misinformation. As examples, if someone doesn't agree to the message, they might only notice parts that support their opinion and ignore the rest of the part.
27 online, no?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Today, actually, we discussed about the communication. That is one of another key factor in the management fundamental. So communication is the transfer and understanding of the meaning. So as a learning outcome, I like to share with you the barriers to effective communication. So we learn about the filtering, selective perception, information overload, emotions, language, silence, and lying. In terms of the working experience where I work, so I can see the three main barriers we can identify in the workplace right now I'm working, sir. So one is the language barriers. The language barrier is mostly having in this sector. This can be the employee to employee as well as the employee to the guest. So employee to employee, as example, that if his or her manager maybe advise him to go and drop this into room number 500. But if this, because of this language barrier, he can go and drop into the room number 5. So like that, it can be happen in the due to the language barriers. Also, the lack of active listening, that is also one key, the barriers I can identify in the effective communication where I work. As example, if the guest requesting a non-smoking room, maybe if he's not listening actively of the team member, he can assign the guest for the smoking room area block.
In
So,
order
so
to
this,
identify many more
sir?
points, only one point can be selected. Right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then 31. 31 is your number is 29. Oh, 31.
Hello, sir, can you hear me? I'm
27, no?
No, sir, I'm 31, 31.
Huh?
Shall I, 31,
27
31.
or 31?
31, sir, 31.
Huh?
31, 31.
Yes. Right, next one, 29. All right.
Sir, can you hear me? 31, sir.
Communication, which is selective perception. Selective
Hello?
perception is a psychological process where individuals filter and interpret information based on their pre-existing beliefs, emotions, experiences, or expectations. As a result, people tend to focus on certain aspects of a message or situation that align with their views, while disregarding or misinterpreting information that cannot be seen. This happens because humans cannot process all the information they encounter, so they unconsciously select what stands out to them. This selective focus can influence how they perceive others, events, or even messages in communication. For an example, let's say two people watching the same things about the product. One person might focus on the positive aspects like peaceful demonstrations and goals for change because they support the cause. The other might focus on the negative moments like clashes, violence, because they disagree with the protest. Both are interpreting the same event, but their perceptions are shaped by the beliefs.
Perception of errors, differences. Right, next one, 031, 31, online.
Hello? Hello, sir, can you hear me? Hello, sir? Hello?
31,
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
please increase your mic.
Sir, now you can hear me? Hello, sir, now you can hear me, sir?
Yeah, tiny
Hello?
voice comes.
So this is the maximum I can, I increase my volume, sir. Can you hear me now?
Should we increase this one?
Yeah, there is a maximum, sir.
That's the maximum, no?
Yes, sir. I also increased my mic maximum.
All right.
Shall I start, sir?
Yeah, okay, please.
Okay.
Provide your answer.
Okay, sir. Today our learning outcome is the communication. The communication in the organization can flow different directions. One is the downward and upward and lateral. So when it comes to the downward is from higher level to low level, upward is from low level to higher level, and lateral is the between the colleagues at the same levels. So type of the communication comes with the oral and written and non-verbal communications. So when I give the example in my firm, since I'm working in audit firm, so effective communication between the auditors and the client is very important to successfully complete the audits. So auditor, we should, as auditor, we should clear and transparent in our professional communication when dealing with the client. So for example, any discrepancies, any for financial information and clear discrepancies, and we have to ensure the regulatory with the regulatory standards. For example, when we are giving a qualified opinion to the our audits audit clients, so first we have to professionally we have to communicate that we have to explain reason behind our opinion. And we have to quote, we have to reference the relevant accounting standards and evidence as well. So after that, but we have to make open discussion with our client, and we have to listen and to understand the client concern, and there any misunderstanding between our team members and the client. So once we in the discussion point, we have to submit all our findings, and we have to explain what is the reason that will to any potential any disconflicts. So after any disconflict adjustment, and if still the disagreement is persist, then we have to go for a partner level, and we have to inform the if you need any third party experts, for example, for the valuation or any actuarial valuation. So we have to go for like that one, and we have to maintain the all documents and everything in a formal way, in a documented way, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Next one, 32, again online. 032 32. You are. Physically.
There is communicate vertical communication. Vertical communication refers to the flow of information between different levels and organizations hierarchy. There are two types of communication. First, downward communication. First, when downward communication occurs when management share instruction, policies, and feedback with employees. It helps ensure that employees understand their role, responsibilities, and organizational expectations. Common examples include managers assisting tasks, comparing wide announcements from executives and HR, communicating workplace policies. However, challenges such as misinterpretation, lack of clarity, or employees feeling disconnected, and right communication is not effectively managed. Second type, upward communication. Upward communication, on the other hand, allows employees to provide feedback before use of their concerns with higher management. It plays a critical role in decision making by giving leader insight into workplace challenges and employee concerns. This example includes employee completing reports, suggesting process improvements, or expressing the results. Experiencing upward communication may face barriers such as fear of reputation, filtering of information by the management of addressing employee feedback. For vertical communication to be effective, organizations to promote open dialogues, ensure clarity, messaging, and create a culture where feedback is valued.
Right. Next one, Ratna, why you don't have numbers?
The administration, I think next week will be right. Today my learning point is communication process. Communication is more than just changing words. It involves several key components that can say the understood correctly. Communication starts with the center. who creates the delivers the message based on the experiences, attitude, skill, and perceptions. The message is then transmitted through a medium such as verbal speech, writing, email, or images. If the receiver interprets the message, however, noise such as distractions, unclear wording, or misinterpretation can interfere with understanding. For example, if a manager emails instructions to an employee but uses complex terms, the employee might misinterpret the message, leading to mistakes. To overcome this, the feedback loop allows the receiver to ask questions or clarify improving effective communication. In short, communication is a two-way process that requires clarity, the right medium, and active feedback. By improving this element, we can communicate more effectively in both personal and professional life.
But then if I do the marks total, number 2 has received one absence. One absence is 18. Number 2, 18. One absence. 9 days present. Number 4, 2 absences. Then 16. Number 5, 1 absent. 18. Number 6.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm
Number 6.
sorry.
Another one wanted to answer.
No, can you repeat number 2? How many absence number 2 has?
You were absent no on 1 day.
Oh, okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, then 18. 9 days presented. Right, number 6, 2 absences, then 16. Number 7, 1 absent, 18. Number 8, all presented, 20. Who's number 8? But normally when for non-active participation, 1 mark is given, no? Normally, under different assessment, some lecturers. 1 mark. But here with active involvement, 2 marks allocated for 1 day. The other may be for the present attendance. Next one, 9, 2 absences, no, including today. 9 not available today, no? Then 16. Number 11, 3 absences. Then 14. Number 12, 6 absences, 4 presence.
Last week, sessions.
What is that regarding leadership?
As the work motivation refers to the factors that drive employees to perform their best at work, including creating a work environment that encourages productivity and engagement. As an example, a company offering bonus for high performing to keep their employees motivated. And process of motivation is making a need and driving a force to it, and the desired goals and the fulfill the goal. As example, employees want a career growth, so they take additional training, something like graduation, or something like that. Then get promoted as a goal, which leads to job satisfaction. That is a fulfillment of this goal. And there are 2 types of motivation: extrinsic motivation, driven by external rewards like salary and benefits and promotions. And other one is intrinsic motivations, comes from within, like personal growth, recognitions and achievements. As a fulfillment, a teacher feeling fulfilled, students also.
Right. Then you have 10 marks total. Right, 13, my God, only 1 presence. Number 13, 2 marks. All others are absent. Only 1%. You might be not coming here. No? Right, this one 14 online, 2 absences, 16. Huh? Totally 16. Number 15,
Okay,
online, but in 1 marks, not properly answered. 2 instances, 1 mark. Then with that, all are presented. Then 2 mark reduction, 18. Right, number 17, more extensions with 1 mark also. Then 7 marks altogether, 7. Number 18, 1 absent, 18 marks. 18, 18. 19, 1 absent, 18 marks. 27, 2 absences, 16. 29, 6 presents, 4 absences, 12 marks. 31, same mark. No, here, same, 12 marks. 4 absences. 32, same, 4 absences, 6 presents, 12 marks. Ratnayaka, 1 mark, 1 instance, 4 absences, then 11 marks, no? 11. 10 plus 1, 11. Right, those who got marginal marks here, but it's a minimum assignment, next time. But make sure they are contributing to the teamwork. And not missing that. Finally, if time allows, we will have oral presentations. Then that time assignment has 2 evaluations. To earn 30, no, 20 marks. Maximum given is ceiling is 40.
Marks to 70.
Huh?
How many marks to 70?
7?
70.
70 is 7.
70.
7 with 1 mark calculation.
70.
Yeah, 17 na? 017. Yeah, 2, 1, 2, 2. 7. Right, then forget about this mark and try to the assignment base. But there's a minimum component. Minimum 60 should be from continuous assessment. Then from exam, minimum 35. Minimum 35, not 24. No? 35 should be there. What is the minimum total? No. Yeah, that is another condition. For the final exam, 35 should be there. That is another condition that I think that is contradiction to this component. 40% minimum. That is another requirement, different condition. That applies to you also, I think. But this is achievable. No? It's a matter of being alert in the activities. In a degree program, no, you have to engage in the activities. No? Proper engagement. And then we will select a case study about communication. There's a nice case study about Chicago police. Very old case study, but the concepts can be considered. Communication concepts. It's a part, no? Right, case study with questions also. Police miscue toll in bus incident. Right. It has happened in America, in Chicago. Police miscue, miscommunication. There are questions at the end. Right. First question is, what steps might state and local police mentioned there take to improve communication with each other? You can consider the concepts for different types. Oh, some more points. Second one, what type of formal communication patterns might work best in a situation like this? Third, how might non-verbal communication play a role, positively or negatively, in a situation like this where rapid, accurate communication is required, essential? Right, let's see with the paras. Right, first para. Sometimes the communication miscue not only embarrasses and inconveniences people, it may also endanger lives. Such was the case, even the Boeing Max software problem looks like a communication problem. It misled the pilots, no? Then two major world crashes happened, no? In Malaysian Airlines and Ethiopian Airlines. Still, Boeing company is suffering to give pay damages. All are communication related problems. Right. That's a machine made miscommunication. Machine software made miscommunication. Right. That was the case one evening when police pulled over a bus outside Chicago and stormed it, looking for a murder suspect who wasn't on the bus. The incident started with a tip-off from the murder victim's family. This guy, the police, no? That the suspect might be traveling by the bus from Chicago to Milwaukee. These are two cities, no? Chicago police issued a warning to other local police as well as the state police that the suspect might be on the bus, but to let him pass. That's the message given. Not to have an arrest. Then they notified the Milwaukee police who were ready to pick up the suspect as soon as he arrived. But Glencoe and state police interpreted the message to mean that they should stop the bus and make an arrest. Miscommunication. There wasn't anything ambiguous about this, declares Paul Harlow, Director of Public Safety, Glencoe. The message was that you have a suspect who is wanted for homicide, and that's probably, in my understanding, the highest priority message you can put out. Interpretation. So passengers were filed off the bus, herded to the side of the road frisked and held there for several hours. Right. It's a suffering, no, for the public, for passengers. Traffic on the highways was jammed up for miles, another consequence. Meanwhile, the suspect had actually boarded another bus to Milwaukee, where he was arrested later. Law enforcement experts claim that had he been on the stop bus, the situation could have become dangerous very quickly. What caused this communication miscue? First, there was no formal patterns of communication, leading to a clear chain of command, that downward and upward. Second, there were errors in perceptional errors. The message that the Chicago police intended as merely informational was received and interpreted by other police department as a request for an action. Third, there was no feedback, but we noted in the model, about the message from receiver to sender. Instead, the bus was stormed. The California Highway Patrol has a policy that would have prevented such a miscue. An officer may not take actions such as pulling over bus unless he received approval to do that from the headquarters. Right. We want to make sure that someone that has guidance expensive caller of the organization. Sorry. That has a slightly different perspective that may not be caught up in the situation, can provide guidance, explains Steve Kohler of the organization. Therefore, it is a safe bet that police departments around Chicago are now working on improving communications. Not only this situation, no? In all other situations, it's a matter of improving the communication flow to prevent problems or minimize problems like this. Right, then we can easily answer these questions one by one. What steps might the state and local police take to improve communication with each other? What are the solutions? Some were given already. Overall, generally we can suggest have informal communication channels with hierarchical communication, upward, downward. That may be one suggestion. Another, use informal communication also, no? Along with formal. First take. That also can give a lot of advantages. Feel the limitations of only using the formal communication. Right. Then have the feedback to make sure the message reach rightly to the right person. Then they use many channels, even not only one channel, no? Use different channels. And improve listening capacities also, no? That is another requirement, listening. Right, likewise, at least 5 such suggestions can be given. It's a general one, no? Then what type of formal communication patterns might, then you have to elaborate only about the formal communication channels. Vertical, after created downward, upward, inward, you have to use some examples. This is right. Then how might non-verbal communication play a role positively or negatively? The body languages. In a situation like this, we have rapid accurate. Yeah, then I think it is very suitable for a military, no? Police. Then there can be some jargons or icons or words of communication which are known to them only. They cannot be known to others. Then non-verbal communication might be working very well for these security, safety purposes. So, primary hits and codes, angari, they are used to they are only using codes. Everyone has that end. That may work positively, but those should not be leaked to others. need to arise. Among them only, the meanings and the consequences should be known. I gave the hints, but you have to elaborate. You're right. Civil and the non-verbal they only know their dress codes, but they are doing all checking checkups. In Singapore, and all the high modern ICT is used. These are other reality. They are all monitored with the technology. Electronic communication also can be used, but such a question has not been asked. Right, then there are summary points. It says communication is the exchange of messages or information or messages. People for the purpose of reaching common understanding and achieving common goals. That would be another definition. Unless common meanings are shared, managers find it extremely difficult to influence others. Therefore, number one skill set for a manager or a leader is communication, appropriate communication. Communication is an indispensable activity in all organizations. No organization can think of its survival or existence without effective communication. The organization relies on communication to learn what its customers want, to foster cooperation among employees, internal customers, and to identify and adapt to changes in the environment. What we studied before, all are done with communication. The organization relies on communications to learn. I explained that. No? Within organizations, there are three directions in which communication flow: downward, upward, and lateral or horizontal. I gave a chart also. Non-verbal communication is communication by means of elements and behaviors that are not coded into words. A glance, a stare, smile, frown, provocative body movements, they all convey meanings. Non-verbal communication, sorry, I mentioned that. No? All right, another one. Non-verbal communication includes all elements of communication such as gestures and the use of space or distance that does not involve words or do not involve language. There is another explanation. Barriers to communication are factors that block or significantly distort successful communication. Effective managerial communication skills helps overcome some, but not all, barriers to communication. That's a meaning to say perfect communication is not attainable. But we can enhance the effectiveness of communication. These are some keywords considered: communication, exchange of message between people or information between people, filtering, sender manipulation, manipulating information in a favorable way, halo effect. These are perceptual errors, halo effect. But I explained that with the selection problem in an interview. Process of forming opinions based on one element from a considerable group of elements. They are only not wearing a tie has been considered, no? Not other evaluation points. That is called halo effect. Bias decision making. But we explain under selection, selective perception. Kinesics, study of body movements including posture. It's a technique. Lateral communication, communicating with members at the same level of the hierarchy. Paralanguage, vocal aspects of communication related to how something is said rather than to what is said. Proxemics, the influence of proximity and space in communication. Stereotype, that opposite or another of halo effect. When we have a preconceived idea about other people, that is mean looking at one particular behavioral pattern, we try to attribute that to the particular group. සාමාන්‍ය විහාරයේ තියෙනවානේ. එයාට චපලයි කියලා කියනවා, පිරිමි කපටි කියලා කියන ඒ වගේ. කොහොම එහෙම නෑ. Stereotype in ideas. Establish stereotype ideas. That is also very to effective communication. Stereotypes. සේවකයෝ කම්මැලි කියන එක නේද? මැනේජර්ස්ලා මේ exploiting කියන එක ඒවා ඔක්කොම එහෙම නෑ. But those are stereotypes. Lanka මිනිස්සු බොරු කියන මම කිව්වට ඔක්කොම නෑ. Right. Addition to there are some other perceptual errors like these are halo effect stereotypes mostly happening. Others are too much of leniency. Then central tendency, right? Extreme points. Those can minimize the effective decision making. The recent effects. We are only considering recent information, forgetting the past information. That is also not good. Right. Those are some other perceptual errors. When you do organizational behavior subject, those would be considered under individual behavior and perception. The management process all cannot be covered. Halo effect refers to the process of forming opinions based on one element from a considerable group of elements and trying to generalize the perception of all other elements. Example, in an organization, a good attendance record may cause positive judgments about productivity. But to evaluate the employee performance, not only the punctuality, there is a must. In addition to that, there is behavior, quality of work, all others should be considered together under the productivity, not only the punctuality. But it is one primary concern, punctuality. Projection is another one. Projection has two meanings. Projecting one's own motives into another's behavior. It is also a biasful thing. But in management, we have to do projection. Projection, prediction, forecasting are the widely used techniques. Even now, AI like techniques can be assigned to do projections. Even budget is a projection. Then extreme emotions are bad. Language, communicated message must be understandable to the receiver. Often communication gaps arises because the language the sender is using may be incomprehensible, vague and indigestible to the other. Language is a central element in communication. It may pose a barrier to correct and timely action if it use obscures meaning and distort intents. emotions. How the receiver feels at the time of receipt of information influences effectively how he interprets the information, the mood and emotion. Right, selective perception, no? Filtering, all mentioned. No? Right. Anyhow, since these are very new things, we will do these also. Filtering refers to a situation where sender manipulating information, so it will be seen more favorably by the receiver. The major determinant of filtering is the number of levels in an organization structure. This may happen frequently. That organization the more vertical levels in the hierarchy, the more will opportunity to filter it. That's what I explained. No? Filtering current lazy. Span management is low there. Span management. Selective perception, the last one. No? Selective perception means seeing what one wants to see. The receiver in the communication process generally resorts to selective perception. Receiver. He selectively perceives the message based on the organizational requirements, the needs and characteristics, background of the employees, etc. Perceptual distortion is one of the distressing barrier to effective communication. Perceptional, it's a perceptional. Right. I explained this with that selection, the interview selection. Problem. Even throughout our life, this may happen. Right, with this, we will stop the class. There are a few more minutes to finish, but anyhow, we achieve the learning outcomes. No? Even over communication is also not good. Therefore, here we will finish the communication lesson.